The Hawks just shocked the footy world with their 2 selections in the 2025 draft. At first, the picks seem unusual, but when you take a closer look into the details, they start to make a lot more sense. G'day guys, ET with Hawthorn's full 2025 draft video. Really quick, I've already uploaded the video on the entire first round of the 2025 draft. If you're interested in seeing that, go check that one out, it's already up. With pick 20, the Hawks selected Cameron Nahn, the 188cm forward/wingman. And with pick 23, they selected Aiden Schubert, the tall forward/second ruck. When we first heard these guys' names read out on draft night, I think every Hawthorn fan can agree that we were pretty surprised with the results. I think it's safe to say that most fans expected either a midfielder or a hybrid midfielder, someone who could play off half back, maybe even half forward, maybe even just an extra defender. Then the Hawks shocked basically the entire football world, selecting 2 forwards, something we don't desperately need at this point in time. But once you start to look at these selections as future investments rather than win-now players, the picks make a lot more sense. And looking back to last season, Hawthorn didn't debut a single player in 2025. Because most likely whoever we drafted wasn't going to play more than a handful of games in 2026, nor be that piece to take Hawthorn to the next level, aka a grand final. And I think in a few years' time, we're going to look back and say, hey, these are actually really underrated selections in 2025. Now let's take a closer look at the players Hawthorn selected. Firstly, both these guys are definitely big sliders in the 2025 draft. At one point, Nahn and Sherbert were both projected to be selected around the top 10 mark in multiple mock drafts. Schubert at one point was rated the second best key forward/ruckman, only behind Cooper Duff Tytler, who was selected at pick 4 to the Eagles. And Nahn was a late top 10 bolter, rated number 12 in Cal Toomey's final mock draft. Both these guys are versatile, with Schubert able to play the athletic ruckman/tall forward role, and Nahn being able to play that medium/third tall forward role, and also being able to push up to the wing. Now let's have a look at the positives and negatives these guys bring to the team. Firstly, and this is a big one, depth and versatility. Nahn can play forward and also on the wing, like I just said, which is a position Hawthorn could definitely use some depth in. And Schubert can play that second ruck role, which is also another area that Hawthorn could use some extra depth in. The Hawks now have 2 replacements for Jack Gunson if he chooses to retire at the end of the 2026 season. Also, and this is a very underrated one, Hawthorn traded back a few picks in this year's draft and received 2 2026 second round picks, one from GWS and another one from the Eagles, which is linked to St Kilda. Now onto the negatives, and I can only find one real negative. I would say we didn't get an extra midfielder, but like I said earlier in the video, that extra midfielder probably isn't going to have the impact Hawthorn needs to take them to the next level. So I'm going with no new defenders as a very big negative. The main reason being Sicily, Amon, Impey and Barris all turned 31 in 2026. Also, over the off-season, the Hawks lost Jai Sarong, Sam Frost, Seamus Mitchell and CJ. Yes, I know Sarong and Frost have been replaced with Barris and Battle, and Seamus Mitchell and CJ really didn't play a lot of senior footy, but at the same time, you got 4 aging defenders, plus you just lost 3.5 to 4 more backmen. It could take a toll in 2 or 3 years' time, depth-wise. I thought maybe Josh Lindsay or an Oscar Taylor. They ended up going to the Giants and the Eagles. I thought they were definitely a lock for us, but then we traded back. Those 2 second-round picks in 2026 are going to be valuable towards our next trade for an A-grade midfielder. But yeah, I think that's the only negative in this draft. Now, what to expect going forward in 2026? We obviously just recruited 2 new forwards, so I'm assuming Sam Mitchell is going to throw the magnets around a little bit and surprise a few people going into 2026. We've already heard a few rumours about Dylan Moore and Connor McDonald, also Josh Weddle training with the midfield group over the off-season. And I think we can expect Nick Watson to play more on the footy and slowly work up his workloads throughout the year. Also, it's going to make the 2026 off-season extremely interesting when it comes to trading for this A-grade midfielder. Now with Schubert being the extra key forward/ruckman, could we potentially see a Mitch Lewis or a Max Ramsden get shipped off in an A-grade midfield trade? Maybe even a Ned Reeves? That, along with the extra 2 2026 second-round picks that we received, we could potentially see a deal of 3 first-round picks, 5 second-round picks throughout 3 years, of course. Then maybe a Mitch Lewis, Max Ramsden, Ned Reeves, maybe a player who just isn't getting the game and is going to be overlapped by Schubert. Who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be very interesting come this time next season. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment down below your thoughts on Nahn and Schubert. I reckon they're going to be great players. Or would you prefer maybe a Josh Lindsay or an Oscar Taylor? Comment down below. Let me know. Very curious to hear your thoughts. Also, let me know what you think is going to happen with Dylan Moore, Nick Watson, Connor McDonald. Are they going to play more on the footy, on the wing? Who knows? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. But don't forget to check out my video on the entire first round. If you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to enjoy that one. So go check it out.